Councillor Whiting and then Councillor Elwood.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let me preface by what I'm about to say on the budget by saying that, as everyone else has said this evening, I have nothing but the greatest of respect for the work that the officers do, and I think they've done an incredible job in keeping the show on the road. And he might not thank me for saying this, but the same goes for Councillor Clark, who I have a huge amount of respect for, and the work that he's done leading the council. So nothing what I'm about to say is actually laid at their door. But it's quite clear, looking through these figures, that we are being asked this evening to support another austerity budget. We were asked last year to support an austerity budget, and I believe Councillor Payne and Councillor Clark laid the blame at the door of the government since 2010, and we heard a lot about the funding position that we've been in. I remember being in a meeting, maybe prior to being elected or just after elected, where someone stood up and said, we've just got to get through the next few months or years, and then we'll get a Labour government and the taps will come on. Now, we can talk about billions of pounds in black holes as much as we like, but our residents around the borough, frankly, are not interested in fictitious or otherwise black holes and billions here and billions there. They're interested in the services that we are providing, and they are interested in the council tax bills that are going to be coming through their door. And our residents are going to be faced with a council tax bill which sees the county council increase by 4.84%, the fire increase by 5%, the police increase by 4.9%, and Gedling increase by 2.98% now, rounded up to 2.99. And lots of them will be asking what additional services they are getting for the additional money. There's no question, I don't think, that Gedling Borough Council, on the whole, delivers very high quality services, but we are being asked yet again to pay more and receive less. And this is an ongoing problem, and it's a problem that doesn't seem to be going away, despite the billions that are being found for other projects. The Local Government Association said, and I quote, "Councils of all types will continue to struggle to balance the books. Many face having to increase council tax bills to bring in desperately needed funding next year, but will still be forced to make further cuts in services." And then when you look at page 145 of our agenda pack, we've got to find £3.2 million. I mean, they're called efficiencies, but let's be honest, they're cuts. We've got to find £3.2 million in cuts over the next 4 years. I'm not actually sure what's going to be left by the time Gedling Borough Council goes. I think it was Councillor Clark who alluded to the national insurance. I think we're paying £400,000 extra in national insurance, and we were told that was going to be funded. And then when the cheque came through the door, it's £114,000. So that's £276,000 that the council has got to find just to stand still. And that is completely unacceptable from this government. And as others have said, I think it's a shame that the two MPs aren't here to give us some accountability for the decisions that have been taken by those above them. I would just like to come back to the 2023 manifesto. Fair enough, Gedling is making good progress on implementing that, but there was another election manifesto in 2023 that some of us stood on. Keir Starmer said that he was going to freeze council tax bills in 2023. So it seems like we were told one thing when they couldn't do it, and now the council is being forced by Keir Starmer to do something completely the opposite, and obviously that just adds to a long list of U-turns. If I could just briefly come to my favourite topic of conversation, which is the car park at Cllr Rec. Obviously there's no money in the budget for it this year, and I know discussions are ongoing, but I was told by Councillor Payne last year that residents in Cllr should judge him and the council on the improvements that were taken in the following 9 months. That was 12 months ago. Councillor Clark talked about a few potholes in Carlton Cemetery. You want to come and have a look at Cllr Rec car park. It is a pothole. There's not a few potholes. It is one big pothole. And as some have said, the charging in the country park will inevitably push people towards there. We're being asked tonight to vote for a budget that cuts money from our portfolio holders and officers for communities and place, lifestyle, health and well-being, life chances and vulnerability, climate change, natural habitat and sustainable growth. I was kind of speechless looking at that. These things are not inevitable. Cuts to public services and reductions in public spending are not inevitable. We can make different choices. We can tax the rich. We can abolish non-doms, which has been watered down. There are people in this country with plenty of money, and it is about time that the government took some steps to take some money away from those people and redistribute it to people right across our borough who need help and who need the services. Because I really fear for our residents over the next coming years, once we start to see these 3.2 million of cuts coming through, that services are not going to be what they could be and what our staff and we would want them to be. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.